InMusic closes down production of Moog products in the USA. So the first thing you're going to say is, who the hell are InMusic and what have they got to do with Moog? Well, InMusic were formed in 1992. They've been around a while. And they were formed through the acquisition of Numark. Whether they were called InMusic at the time, I don't know. But InMusic has since become the holding company for a number of well-known brands. Well, well-known brands that you and I would know. There's a number of other brands that I don't know. Probably should, but I don't. But these are kind of the brands that InMusic own. Air, Akai, Elsys, Denon, Ion, M Audio, Stanton, and of course now Moog. Now, as I said, there's probably a bunch of other brands that they own that I haven't listed there. In fact, if you go onto their website, there are more brands there, but they're not brands I would recognise. Maybe you do, but I don't, so I haven't included them there. But there are more brands in that stable. They're kind of I suppose this seems to be a wave in the music industry at the moment where, you know, companies like InMusic are coming in and buying up well-known brands to add to the stable. Behringer have a number of brands, and the mob that own Focusrite have a number of brands as well. All those brands you would recognise, but it's, you know, under a common holding company now. It seems to be this wave of consolidation that's going on. So, InMusic bought Moog, and about a week ago they announced that Moog was laying off a large proportion of the staff at the Asheville, North Carolina office. What does it mean? Moog will no longer manufacture synthesizers in the USA, potentially. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. We have a term in the UK called Sod's Law. And that refers to the fact that something happens which is outside of your control. And what is happening is, somewhere in one of the gardens around the workshop, there is a dog that has decided, since I started recording, to start barking and whining. Sod's Law. Anyway, back to Moog. InMusic acquired Moog Inc, or Moog Music Inc, in June 23, and that was widely reported in the press. At the time of the acquisition, the president of Moog Music Inc, Joe Richardson, wrote that Moog will still engineer, design and build instruments at its Asheville headquarters, and Steve Dunnington will continue to lead product development. That was the statement that was issued immediately after InMusic purchased Moog Music Inc. Now, at the point of acquisition, there were a number in the music community that were concerned about the acquisition of Moog Music Inc by InMusic Production. They were concerned about how this would affect the Moog production line and the products that Moog pushes out, these famous Moog synthesizers that many of the musicians in the community love for the characteristics that these synthesizers tend to have. Here we are, 3 months down the line from the point of acquisition, and a statement that was issued at the point of acquisition seems to be, if not completely reversed, most of it seems to have been reversed, and I'll put it like that. I use the term laid off, but the press that have been reporting this have been using the word fired. Whether they were fired or whether they were laid off, this means that roughly half the US based staff at the US headquarters have now gone or left the company. So whichever way you look at it, fired or laid off, they have started to shed staff at the HQ, which is where the product is manufactured. The reports that I've been seeing state that InMusic is shutting down the production line of all but the high-end Moog products. And only the high-end products will be now made at Asheville. And the production of the rest of the products in the Moog product range will be shifted to an unknown or yet unknown production facility, possibly outside the US. Now I say the word possibly outside the US because there's been no confirmation that this new production facility is going to be outside the US. But the smart money is that this is probably going to move, like most other manufacturers of electronic components, out to the Far East, where this stuff is produced as a commodity item. Speculation about the delocalization of the Moog product line has been circulating in the press ever since Moog was purchased. And the view taken by the press about this whole area was that InMusic would try to reduce the unit cost of the products being produced. And the way they saw that happening was effectively, as I say, they used the word delocalize, basically moving it outside the continental US to a much cheaper build facility and therefore increasing the revenue per unit. Or, on the flip side, you could actually reduce the turnover or the price per unit and maintain your margin if you built it somewhere else. Will they choose to reduce the price or will they go for margin? Don't know, couldn't tell you, it's a corporate decision. But they are the kind of two viewpoints here. So the big question really is, how do you guys actually feel about the fact that another American music icon is moving its production facilities offshore? Does this mean the build quality of future Moog, I should say Moog, it's not Moog, Moog products will become inferior? I couldn't comment. But what I am going to say, sitting right on the fence on this one, is that many of the other brands in this space have never manufactured a product in the US. And yes, they have manufactured products to a price point and been duly slated in the press for the aesthetics, the build quality, the keyboard quality of the product that has been supplied to market. But the high-end products have generally been playable. I'm going to use the word playable, not necessarily the word good, because some people don't see those products as good, but they are generally playable. Now, I'm absolutely sure that there will be a raft of people saying, John, you're talking total utter B. You get the drift. And maybe I am, and maybe I will get shot down for making that last statement. But the reality is, you still can build a quality product, not in the US. But will Moog get it right? And on that note, I'm going to say, live long and prosper, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.